which is Sussex Police and East Sussex Fire Service. Butcher drown. As I said, this is where you got the police and you got the fire brigade. If the fire brigade want to chat, then that's fair play, but then when you look at the police, I should carry on doing what I do. So you can see that clearly said reception. There is your phone of disconnection. So BT must have made a mint off of those, putting those phones in every neck. So yeah, so let's have pictures. So hiya.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Welcome to Sussex HQ.
Thank you very much.
Can we help you, sir?
No, I'm just doing a bit of filming, that's all.
That's fine, it's a public area, so
No.
as you know,
No worries.
we're entitled to film.
Perfect.
My colleague.
Get ready to witness a tense audit showdown that starts off calm, but quickly escalates into a clash with senior officers. The auditor begins by introducing the location: Sussex Police and East Sussex Fire Service headquarters. At first, it's uneventful shots of the building, casual filming, and even a polite encounter at reception where staff simply acknowledge his presence. Everything appears smooth and respectful, setting the stage for what will soon turn into a heated debate about rights, law, and authority.
Inspector Simon Barden, I'm one of the duty inspectors up in our
Inspector
Simon Barden.
Simon Barden, okay.
So I work in the Force Contact Control Room, so we're just wondering why you're stood on our property filming into...
No, I'm stood on public property.
Okay.
So let's verify that.
Okay.
So, and I'm just doing a bit of filming.
But you're filming into private property?
Makes no difference.
It does.
Why is that? What law am I breaking?
Because you're filming private property and you haven't...
It makes no difference.
Well, it does. You can't film into private property.
Yes, I can.
Okay, under what law?
Okay. The law is I can film whatever I can see in public.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay,
And
so
if you're saying that I can't film in, okay, you can't trespass the eye.
The calm atmosphere shifts when Inspector Simon Barden approaches. He questions why the auditor is filming, insisting that recording into the property makes a difference. The auditor pushes back immediately, asking what law is being broken. The inspector struggles to provide clarity, laying the groundwork for a major dispute between personal feelings and legal rights.
What you can do is you're gaining people's personal information.
What
So-
personal information is that then?
So there's people's
What
there's
person?
people's-
What person?
Listen to me. Let me
No,
explain.
don't tell me to listen.
No, listen to me. You've asked me a question, so let me
Okay.
answer the question. It's fine. I don't mind engaging with you and
Go on.
talking to you. I haven't come down for a row with you. But there are staff members that are coming in. You're putting their security at risk because you could potentially...
I'm not
be-
putting anyone's security at risk.
But you could be, couldn't you?
No, that's a
Because we-
presumption. Okay, I'm not doing anything wrong.
No, it's not a presumption because I said you could. I didn't say you were.
Okay.
I said you could be. So that's not a presumption. That's me suggesting that you could be.
Okay, and how would I be putting their safety at risk then?
So what are you doing with those films?
Well, it's for personal use.
Okay. What personal use? Are you going to be sharing those online?
I don't know. Whatever personal use I wish.
Okay. So what is the purpose of you being here today? Would be my question.
The police is a public service.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm here to actually record what the public pay for.
Okay, but this isn't the police station. This is police
It
headquarters.
makes no difference. The public still pay for it.
Okay, I don't understand what you're trying to achieve though, because if you want to make sure
I'm not trying to achieve anything. I'm just filming what the public pay for.
Okay, but if you're trying to prove that the public are paying and getting value for service, surely you'd
No,
be better.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
So what did you say?
Okay. I said I'm just here to film what the public pay for. That's it.
Okay. For what reason?
For my own reason.
Okay, are you willing to disclose that to me?
I don't need to, sir.
Okay.
And the inspector pivots, claiming filming could expose personal information and pose a security risk. The auditor firmly rejects this, pointing out that it's nothing more than a presumption and not an actual offense. The exchange turns into a clear test of knowledge, one side relying on vague risks, the other demanding specific laws. It's the first real flashpoint where rights and authority collide head-on.
You come here regularly and do this?
That's irrelevant.
Okay, I feel like I've come down to have a conversation with you and engage with you, and
Yeah,
you're not,
but that-
and you're
but
not
that
particularly-
com-
and
yeah,
you're
but
not
that-
particularly willing to engage.
Yeah, but that conversation is irrelevant, okay? That's called fishing for information.
It's not called fishing. It's called engaging with
Okay.
someone. It's called.
Yeah, I'll have
having
a conversation about whatever you want, okay?
Okay.
But whether
well,
or
no,
not,
no, you
but
won't. You'll have a
whether or not,
conversation with me
whether or
about
not
what you would
I've
like.
been here or not, or whether or not I'm actually filming, I'm just doing exactly what I'm perfectly lawfully allowed to do.
Okay.
That is what I'm doing. I'm doing exactly what I'm lawfully allowed to do. Okay, it's a lawful activity, and that is what I'm doing.
Okay. But you haven't answered the question why.
Because I wish to.
Because, yeah, but what my concern would be is that do you pose a security threat?
Okay, your concern and what the law is are two different things.
No, they're not.
Yes, they
No,
are.
they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Okay, your
No, they're
feelings and what you feel is not the law. Okay, I'm doing what I'm doing is perfectly lawful.
Not
Okay.
not if you pose a security threat. It's
In
not.
what way? You still haven't answered that.
Have you answered my question?
Okay, you still haven't answered that.
Have you answered my questions?
I don't need to answer your questions.
And I don't need to answer your questions.
Okay, that's the thing.
But I don't
okay?
need to answer your questions either because you're doing
The
something.
inspector presses for answers, asking repeatedly why the auditor is filming. The auditor refuses, stressing that personal motives don't need to be explained. The tension escalates as the inspector equates his concerns with the law, while the auditor draws a sharp line. Your feelings are not the law. It's a direct challenge to authority, and the inspector struggles to counter it. He head on.
Which way would I be posing a security threat? Okay, when you
Well,
spoke
are
about
you-
license plates. Okay,
are you
license plates. Okay,
recording
are in the
the-
public domain, sir.
Are you recording police vehicles? Are you recording information on police staff?
I'm recording whatever I can see. Okay, that is what I'm doing.
Bear with me a second.
Okay, so guys, you can see there, that's Inspector Barden. Okay, and his feelings are what he's going on, and he's saying that I'm breaking the law and I'm a security risk on that front. So let's see what Inspector Barden actually does to do with that, because how has he made it to an inspector when he doesn't even know?
The inspector begins shifting arguments, this time pointing to security threats and number plates. The auditor dismantles it with ease, reminding him that license plates are in the public domain. With no legal ground to stand on, the inspector retreats, leaving behind the impression of authority grasping at straws is to do with public photography. So I think that's one that he needs to go back to the actual board. Now you got an inspector going to an actual security receptionist who actually said, yeah, it's okay to film. It's with his arguments failing, the inspector heads off to consult with security, leaving the auditor to narrate. The commentary is biting. How could someone reach the rank of inspector without knowing the basics of public photography law? The auditor points out the irony. Even reception staff had no issue with filming, but a senior officer turned it into a confrontation. The scene ends with the inspector returning, this time with reinforcements. That's backup arrives as PC Cross and another officer join the confrontation. They identify themselves but immediately allege that staff felt harassed and distressed. The auditor stands his ground, citing case law. Police officers, by definition of their duty, cannot legally be considered harassed or alarmed while on duty. The debate intensifies with the officers pressing and the auditor dismantling their claims point by point. Attention shifts to whether the land is public or private. The officers insist it's private, while the auditor points to Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act, arguing that publicly accessible land remains open to filming. He even notes that reception staff gave him permission earlier. The clash is sharp and unresolved, but it highlights the recurring theme, policy and perception being used as weapons, while the law itself remains on the auditors. The exchange boils over. Officers accuse the auditor of harassment while he repeatedly affirms his actions are lawful. Then the confrontation reaches a boiling point when one officer claims he touched him, an accusation flatly denied and immediately countered with the assurance that it's all on camera. The mood turns intense, and the gap between what is happening and what is being alleged becomes impossible to ignore. The climax arrives. Officers invoke Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, demanding details. The auditor refuses, firmly stating he has done nothing wrong. Without hesitation, they arrest him on the spot. Calm but defiant, the auditor hands over his belongings, insisting on his lawful right to film to the very end. It's a dramatic close to an encounter that exposes the fragile line between public accountability and the misuse of police powers. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.